Hello everyone, I am your host, Elias Sarantopoulos, and on behalf of the Vectornator team, we welcome you to a new guided tutorial, this time around how to create professional business cards on the go. Inside Vectornator, we will set up our guides for the bleed and save area, work with artboards, create a custom emblem, use the free Iconator service, and finally export our business card for the final output. We've got a lot to cover, so see you inside. So inside Vectornator, let's go ahead and create a new custom document and give the dimensions of a standard US and Canada printed business card. These are 3.5 inches by 2 inches, excluding the bleed area. So what is the bleed area? The bleed area is an extra 1/8 of an inch of space for design elements or backgrounds that extend beyond the finished edges of your card. So in this case, we will create a new custom document inside of Vectornator with the addition of 1/8 of an inch, which equals to 3.75 by 2.25 inches. So I'm going to tap on the custom size icon here. And first, I'm going to set the units of measurements to inches. And then I'm going to enter the numbers. That will be 3.75 inches by 2.25 inches. Then you want to tap on the create icon. And now inside Vectornator, we have a custom business card in our canvas. So first things first, I'm going to tap on the settings inspector and I'm going to double check my work, and under dimensions I can see that I have 3.75 inches by 2.52 inches, which is correct. All right, so I'm going to tap on the white background just because I want to see what I'm doing. And then under the snapping options, I'm going to have the smart guides on. And in addition, I'm going to have the layers panel visible as well. And instead of being on layer 1, right now layer 1 is selected, I'm going to make sure that I tap on the guides layer. And that's because we're going to set up custom guides for the bleed area and custom guides for the trim area. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the bleed area. So I'm going to tap on the line tool and I'm going to draw a vertical line. Okay. And I need to make sure that this line sits on the correct coordinates on the X and Y inside my canvas. So when you tap on the Arrange tab, then we have the positions here. So for the trim area on the first guide will be 0.125 inches. There we go. I'm going to copy this one, paste it, drag it to the other side, and set its position to 3.625 inches. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to use again the line tool. I'm going to tap and drag to create a horizontal line, like so. And I'm going to make sure that also this is positioned on the X and the Y. So for the Y in this case, that would be 0.125. And let's see, I'm going to copy that one. I'm going to paste it, drag it down below. And we're going to set this to 2.125 inches, like so. So we just finished the guides for the bleed area. Now we have the guides for the trim area. A trim area is where the card will be cut after printing. It represents the final dimensions of your card. So again, we need to set specific guides for that. So I'm going to copy and paste this, drag it slightly to the right. So that will be 0.25 inches. Copy this one, paste it, move it to the other side. And that will be 3.5 inches. Okay. Now let's set up the horizontal, copy and paste. There we go. So that would be 0.25. Copy this one, paste it, drag it below, and that would just be 2. Just make sure this also sits at the 0, like so. Okay, so we successfully created custom guides for the bleed and the trim area. Now let's go ahead and double check our work. So under the layers panel, I'm just gonna make sure that I am on layer 1 in this case. Just gonna create a rectangle. Okay, and under the Arrange tab, I'm going to make sure that the size is correct, which is 3.25 by 1.75. That is correct. This is the design or safe area where all critical elements will be kept inside. And I'm just going to delete that right now. And we're ready to move to the next step and start designing our custom business card inside Vectornator. Every business card consists of a logo or some kind of a business identity. So in our case, I will start creating an emblem using a specific font. So I'm going to go ahead and load that font into the font library inside Vectornator. So I'm going to close this document. I'm going to double tap on the X icon on the top left corner, then tap on the settings, and then tap on the font library. And here, as you can see, these are my fonts that I have already loaded in. In this case, I'm going to tap on the cloud icon to load the one that I'm going to be using. So that will be the TTT SARS B bold. Let's double check. There it is. So I'm going to tap done. Back on the library and back opening the business card document I've been working on. Okay, so in this case, now when it says custom size, I'm going to tap on that and I'm going to rename these to front side because that will be the front side of the business card. And instead of layer 1, I'm going to rename these to contents. Hit enter return. Okay. So I'm going to use the rectangle tool. Tap and drag to create one. There it is. Let's give it a color. There we go. And then I'm just going to actually lock that one so I don't accidentally move it. Okay. Well, you know what's coming next. That will be the type tool. So I'm going to tap and drag an area here, which I'm going to fit the type. And I'm going to type ES. That's completely fictional at this point. And let's see. Well, first of all, we have to change its color to white. There we go. And let's see, let's change the font. I'm going to use the font that I brought in earlier. And the bold is okay, size is okay, it doesn't really matter right now. Okay, so one last thing on this part. I'm going to tap on the path tab and under the text, I'm going to tap where it says create outlines from text because I want to have those separately and further manipulate their paths. Now that we have separated those two paths, I'm just going to tap on the S with the selection tool. And let's see, I'm going to bring this close to the E, like so. Marquee select those two. And then under the path, I'm going to use one of the Boolean operations. In this case, I'm going to use the first one, which is going to unite those two. There you go. I'm a little bit off here, but that's okay. I can fix this a little later. What else I can do is I can tap on the node selection tool. And then I'm going to marquee select those two nodes, delete them, and delete some other nodes. Okay, now in this case, for example, I cannot see both control handles. So what I usually do when I face this, I turn this into a corner point and then I turn it back to a smooth path. Now I see them both. Okay. I'm going to bring this here, perhaps be one there. This one I don't need, I'll delete it. This one I'm just going to bring it close. Nothing really fancy. Okay, so what else can we do? Well, I can select the rectangle tool here. Gonna create one, and then just begin close. Marquee select those two, and this time I'm going to subtract those two paths. So I'm going to use the second Boolean operation to subtract. There we go. But I need to do some work here. So with the node selection tool again, I'm going to select some nodes, which I'm not going to use. There we go. So I'm going to use the top ones. So with the multi-selection tool activated, I'm going to select those two. And with the joystick, I'm going to bring them up 2 points, I guess. Okay. I'll do something similar at the bottom. So marquee select those two. I'm not sure if I need it so high up. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's try this one. Marquee select those two, and let's subtract again. But this time we're going to do something slightly different. Maybe I don't need this one. Let's see. Okay, something along those lines. The thickness is very okay. I'm not trying to be picky here, but it's okay. Everything looks to be fine. Marquee select those two, size them down a bit. Let's put in the center. And next, let's create a rectangle. Also, I'm going to give it another color. And I'm going to tap and drag this under the emblem here, this fictitious company. Something along those lines, and then let's see. There we go. Okay, it might be too big, I'm not so sure yet, but you know, this is a good beginning. So we finished working with the on the front side of the business card. So let's go ahead and work on the back side. And inside Vectornator, we're simply going to accomplish this by creating a new artboard. So inside your layers panel, all you have to do is just tap on the new artboard icon, like so, to create a new artboard. So I'm just going to pinch to zoom out. Here's the new artboard. I'm going to select it, and with the selection tool, I'm just going to tap and drag this to bring us closer to the other artboard. Okay, now one thing I would like to mention is that by bringing this artwork inside by creating this new artboard, we also brought in the same guides. And you know what? We need those guides anyway, the same guides, because we are still on the business card. Okay? All right, so I'm just going to tap on the word artboard, and I'm going to rename these to backside, like so. And then instead of layer 1, I'm just going to rename these two contents. Okay, so in this case, I'm just going to create a rectangle right across. See, I'm going to change the color. No need for stroke. Now, this is something temporarily, okay? I'm not going to use this in this backside, but I'm using it as a reference point. I'm going to show you very soon what I mean. But before I do anything, I'm just going to bring this right at the center. There you go. And you see that snaps because I have my smart guides on. Okay, so I'm going to tap to lock this one. And then I'm going to switch back to the front side artboard. So I'm just going to tap on that. And then from here, I'm just going to copy this emblem. I'm going to tap back on the backside artboard to switch. And then I'm just going to paste that. And as you can see, this works flawlessly. Okay. So far, so good. Let's create some text for this fictitious company. And that will be every day something, like so. Okay. Thing is, of course, we don't see it because the size of our font here is too big. So I'm going to go down to 6. Type, actually, let's change the font to, I'm going to go for trebuchet. And for the type, instead of bold, I'm going to go for regular. Okay. as well as I'm going to tap where it says fit bounds to text size like so, and just open this up a bit. There you go. I'm going to pinch to zoom in and just bring it closer to the edge. Something along those lines, okay? All right, so now I'm going to select those two and center them in relation to this rectangle here. So in this case, that's the first thing I did. Now I'm going to marquee select this one, change this color to this orange, and this one to black. And there you go. This is exactly what I was going for. So this very next step, it involves the addition on some vector icons. And Vectornator has us covered here. All we have to do is just tap on the plus icon, which is the library, and then tap on the Iconator icon here. And then just go ahead, I'm going to do a bit of a search for, let's say, Google Maps. So I'm going to tap on the very first icon. Now this icon has been placed, it just has been placed a bit of outside the canvas of the artboard. There it is. All you have to do is just go under the Arrange tab and under the X and Y coordinates, tap on the X and then tap 1. Okay, there we go. So just going to move it away a bit. Now I don't need all of these shapes. I do need those two. Now these are basically two overlapping shapes. So all I have to do is under the Path tab, I'm going to use one of the Boolean operations, which is the exclude overlapping shape areas, which is the very last one, like so. And now I have a hole in between. Okay, great. Let's do another search for envelope. Let's see, I'm going to use which one? Maybe this one. And for this one, I'm going to go 2. I'm okay with that. Let's do another search for telephone. Perhaps I can use this one. Position of 3. There we go. Let's do one more here, and that will be the world. And I can use the globe, and perhaps on the X just 1. Okay. All right. So what I usually do is, just to be very organized, this is going to be the world. I rename pretty much everything inside my layers. Telephone. And instead of curve, that will be the envelope. And this one is going to be the pin drop. Okay, so now we have those 4 icons that we're going to use for our business card. All right, so now I'm going to organize these vector icons and put them in order that makes sense. So for that, I'm going to use the pen tool. I'm going to tap one point here and perhaps one here too as well. And I want to make sure that this actually is a perfect straight and vertical line. So we're going to use the node selection tool. That seems to be a complete, perfect vertical line. And also going to make sure that this sits right at the center. I believe it does here. There we go. All right, so select that vertical line and let's change the stroke width to 15 points. I'm going to change the color of the stroke to this orange, and as well as instead of a normal cap at the very tip of the vertical line, I'm going to go for a bevel cap. Okay. Now I believe this is a little too long. Just going to bring this up. There we go. And inside the layers panel, I'm going to tap and hold and bring this under all these vector icons. And perhaps I can just tap and rename this to vertical line. and then just tap on the lock icon so don't accidentally move it. Okay? All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the ellipse tool. I'm going to tap and drag to create a perfect circle. Now, no need for the stroke. Fill is okay. And I'm going to size this up a bit. Okay. Of course, I need to change its color. There we go. And I like what I see. The size is okay. But let me move this down below a little bit. I need to have 3 more of these circles. So I'm going to tap on the duplicate mode. Tap and drag. 1, 2, 3. Just make sure you exit the duplicate mode. Otherwise, you will keep duplicating these circles. Okay. Okay. So let's look inside the layers panel here. I need to have those appearing under the vector icons. Like so. Okay. So the first one is the pin drop. I'm going to place it right there. I'm going to tap on the scale tool. I'm going to scale this down. Let's move it up. Perhaps scale it down even more. So tap on the scale tool again. And I believe that's okay. I'm going to change its color to white. Like so. So that's the first one. The next one, let's say perhaps we can have the envelope. Let's bring it right here. Tap on the scale tool. Scale this down. And change its color. Okay. Which one is next? Probably the telephone. Tap on the scale tool. Scale this down. Move it close. I need to scale this down even more. There we go. And of course, change its color. And I have one more to go, which is this one right here. The world. I'm going to scale this down as well. And then just place it right there. And I believe I need to change its color to white, of course. There we go. And then also make sure that this is a bit smaller. Perhaps this way. Now, I'm going to marquee select those. And then I'm going to make sure that under the Arrange tab, I group them. I group this one too, this one as well, and this one as well. Okay, now I can marquee select all of them, and I can distribute them equally, like so. And that looks pretty good. And I'm going to spend a little time on my own to add some text for each corresponding vector icon. And then we are ready to go into the final step and export this business card inside Vectornator. So we finished our business card with some added text, and now it's time to export that for printing purposes. So on the top left corner, go ahead and tap on the export icon. And now we are inside the export inspector with several export options. So first things first, I always save my Vectornator files as a native Vectornator document. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and tap on the Vectornator icon here. I can either email it to myself, save it to files, or use one of the cloud services. Okay. Now, exporting the business card in a different format other than Vectornator, I personally recommend to use the PDF option, which will actually export both artboards. So let's go ahead and tap on that. As you can see, I have both artboards at the same time. As for file name, you can go ahead and change that if you wish, and then tap to save. And again, we are presented with the same similar export options here. All right, so I'm going to cancel that out. Another option to consider is the SVG export option, which actually will export each artboard separately in this case. So I'm going to have the layers panel here, and I'm going to tap on the back side and then tap on the SVG icon to export that. Now in this case, I'm going to toggle off the function of create outlines from text, which will give you the ability to further alter the text, providing that you have the relative fonts, of course, installed into your system. Okay, so you can go ahead and save that and export it in these different export options. Okay, so that's about it, exporting a business card inside Vectornator. So next we will open our work inside Illustrator or a PDF reader or what have you and see how it responds. So looking at the business card as a PDF file, as you can see, things look great. It's a very clean file. This is the front side. Let me go to the back side here. Also, that looks very good. If I zoom here a bit, so you can see the text looks crisp. The same thing with the icons that we brought in from Iconator, exactly what we're looking for. Now let's go ahead and see the SVG option here, the one we exported without using the function of create outlines from text. So in this case, I can just double click, for example, and rename the text or change the font or what have you. So of course, if I zoom in here, as you can see, everything looks perfect. The same story is inside Affinity Designer. If I want to zoom in here, as you can see, things look perfect. Text looks perfect, as well as the icons coming from the Iconator. So basically, Vectornator just did a fabulous job creating and exporting a professional business card on the go without any hassles. So let us know about your own designs and inspirations of your own business cards. Perhaps share it with the Vectornator community, and thank you very much for watching.